Go back.
There we go. Okay. So right now we're going to be seeing the operator ban phase, which is becoming pretty stale, I feel, at this point. The meta kind of forces the same operators to be banned over and over and over again, and that's, you know, unfortunate to say the least. Thatcher, I would be hard pressed to find this as being a surprise. And, you know, Thatcher is really a blanket ban or a blanket counter. He counters so many different defenders. Well, every single camera or, you know, all electronic based gadgets. Cameras, be it Maestro, Echo, Valkyrie, or even bulletproof cameras. He also counters, for example, all trap, except for us, all traps operators. For example, Legion's Goo Mines, Ella's Grismots, Capcan traps. So you don't really have to ask yourself, is there a Goo Mine here? Is there a trap here? You just you just aimlessly, or, you know, you throw out your EMP grenades at random, almost at random, and you're going to be clearing yourself a path through to rush into the objective, which is why getting rid of Thatcher out of all operators is going to allow for so many different playstyles to be accessible on the defense and to be viable that you kind of have to ban this operator. And I don't like this simply because it kind of limits the players', let's say, liberty, or it limits the players' say flexibility. If you want to be betting this or that, say, unique or exotic operator, you can't. You have to get rid of Thatcher to have the game be fair and evened out in the first place. Same would be true for Echo, who has not been banned here. Mira and Goyo are going to be somewhat interesting bans. So Mira, you absolutely do understand why she's banned. You know, the typical ban would be Echo Mira. But Goyo is going to be something somewhat different. The thing is, he has a great guns. See, he either has Mira's gun or he has the TSG-12, both of which are absolutely reliable and terrible to be facing up against. However, his kit is really similar to, say, Smokes' kit. You know, it's an area of effect type of operator. So you place down you just place down the shield, and then when it blows up, it would block, say, a doorway or a window, just like Smokes' canister. So I'm not exactly sure why you'd want to have this ban, since the general play style is absolutely still going to be feasible. Like right here, Tsanga is playing Smoke, so the general way of shutting down an attack is still there. Alright, so I'm still getting pinged left and right. Looking at the attack here, there's once again going to be this custom defense coming from WhiteHounds, who are not going to be reinforcing every single wall onto the master bedroom, and rather they want to create an opening and a rotation hole. Quite interesting. Last time when they played against, and there you go, that's going to be an aggressive play, which is not going to work out too well. Bailey, that means, wait a minute, that means there's 3 defenders. Bailey's right here, CPAC, and I believe Sangha was down there as well or something. I might just have been wrong, but there you go. This is going to be a good coordination or a good team play coming off the defenders. Periphone. Zofia, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. DNM, let's just call him DNM. DNM wanted to come in, but he kind of was alone, and he was absolutely expected thanks to that drone. However, now that the advantage surprise has been lost, CPAC wanted to peek that is going to be just too dangerous for him. And you have also Bailey, who will be batting the dust thanks to Kalen at the very same time. On the right side, there was an orange silhouette. There not. Yes, it is going to be Parzival, who is at the bottom stairs, the bottom floor. Like I was saying, you know, the roaming capabilities of this map are pretty good. Three staircases and 3 floors really do have an impact on the way the map is played. Ugo seems to have been attempting to play the anti-roaming phase, but that's not going to be working too great for him. And there you go. Obviously, Hibana was never going to crawl to safety, so you go now in a 1v3 situation. WhiteHounds Esports' defense so far is still going really strong. Like, you cannot really say that the defenses have been attacked, the defenses themselves have been shattered, and that there's a blatant opening in you know, the setup that they had. And that's going to show as Tsanga gets the final kill and wins his team the first round here. Let's jump. Oh shoot, I've been in the replays a bit too quickly here, my bad. Let's just jump back into studio mode, that's gonna help out. Okay, wow. Yeah, there are many things to take care of when you're hosting a competition on your own, and today was not one of the easiest days, let's just say that. However, that first round was pretty interesting. Wait, that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Nicely done. And it kind of goes to show that the attackers were not really ready for WhiteHounds Esports' defense, for WhiteHounds Esports' setup. Right now, without any surprise, we are going to be seeing a Aviation's defense. And let's see what this Aviation defense is going to look like. Because, you know, WhiteHounds, they had their custom setup, their custom strat for the other bomb site. And it kind of, oops, sorry, wrong button. Kind of seems like they're also going to have a custom defense for the other bomb sites as well. So Bailey here kind of not exactly putting the castle barricades down at random. It's absolutely prepared, absolutely set up. And that's what it's going to be looking like. So reinforced wall here, castle barricade here, a single reinforcement right here. That's going to be intriguing, to say the least. Because the thing is, if not all three walls are reinforced, well, nothing's going to prevent the attackers from just opening up the second or to the right of the reinforcement, and as such, they'll still have the an easy way into the statue's room. So at this point, I would assume it's either because a defender wants to hanker down behind that wall, and as such, you know, he wants to protect himself against potential wall bangs, or it's to cut off a line of sight. So if you were to open up, say, right here, you could see through that doorway into the statue's room, but by forcing the attackers to open up the wall to the right, well, that line of sight is no longer possible. That would be another, you know, hypothesis I could bring forward. But the flaw I see here is, what's the point in cutting off this line of sight if nobody's right here? So once again, I am a bit at a loss. Saipak getting her first kill, and Parzel here unfortunately being bested by the attackers. The entire roaming phase is going strong, and this time they kind of know what they're going up against. Dynamy have seen how WhiteHounds Esports tend to defend, and now they know, you know, generally speaking, what to expect. Was that a nitro cell I've heard? Bailey doesn't have nitro cells, does he? No, but Tsanga does. Tsanga kind of tossed a nitro, I believe, here, since the bar has been destroyed. I don't see any flooring being, you know, overly blown to bits and pieces either anywhere else in the general area. And there you go. Somebody's hitting on that castle barricade. Is going to drop down and kind of look for the feet. It does not seem to be the case. DM, though, has been bested by Bailey. And once again, the attackers are, you know, figuring out where the different roamers are hankering down. But they're paying a high price for that. You know, the one guy dies. Oh, there's somebody here. Try to get the refrag. Yeah, but you're dead. You know, it's too late now. The advantage of surprise has been lost. But WhiteHounds Esports have the man advantage. And not a slim one at that. That run out, though, was a bit too aggressive and has been punished by... properly punished by Ares. So with 44 seconds remaining on the clock, you have a 3v3 situation, I believe. Yes, there you go. He still has a few gadgets remaining, and as such, he could tag the feed. He could know where his opponents were going to be, and that's going to be making it somewhat easier, because you don't have to scan the whole of the building when you're coming in. You only, you know, prefer where you know your opponent's going to be hiding behind. However, it's still a 2v2 situation, and Smoke still has 2 toxic babes with 15 seconds. If he uses them correctly, it is lost. Tsanga getting a nice kill. Ares now in a 1v2 situation. That shotgun can be absolutely devastating. He kind of seems to know. I think he fired 1 or 2 rounds, but there's no surviving a shotgun at this range. Unfortunately, Paytak was in a good setup. He knew exactly what to expect, and he was ready for that. En français rapidement, Arrogantex B. Je parle en anglais parce qu'on a une team ici qui est d'origine hongroise et donc qui parle pas français. Et donc, tu sais, l'anglais, c'est comme la langue seconde internationale. Moi, je parle pas hongrois. Et puis, c'était la raison, c'est pour essayer de venir accommoder le plus de gens possible. Mais si jamais tu veux voir du français, je t'inviterais, Arrogant, à aller jeter un œil sur la chaîne de l'autre caster qui est en train de couvrir la chaîne, qui est en train de couvrir la compétition ici. Et c'est Expo Twitch. Je vais te le mettre dans le chat. Ce lien dans quand tu rattraperas le délai de live. Voilà. Ok. Fait que je recommence. Je retourne en anglais. So back in English. This was another nice defense by WhiteHounds Esport, but the bad news are going to be, you know, at the horizon here. Tertiary sites are notoriously harder to defend compared to the primary bomb sites. It's not as dire, say, as Clubhouse, where you never ever want to be in a position to defend bar, but still, you know, defending the kitchen or even, you know, the library room is no small feat. So this could give an inherent advantage to Dynamy, who are already spawning in. And if I was to take a look in third perspective, they don't seem to be going for a unilateral push. Like, they're all coming in from different angles, and it seems to me, at the very least, like they wanna, like they're gonna be trying to outflank the opponents and to surround them, basically. Yugo's insertion has a great potential because there's, as far as I can tell, no roamers at the bottom floor. And from then on, he has like 3 staircases to choose from to come back up. And by doing so, he'll have the potential to appear basically anywhere in the map. Furthermore, you know, let's just keep on pushing the fantasy here. If he remains undetected for long enough, he has a good sneaking potential at this point, because the roamers are absolutely focusing their attention at the top floor. You can see CPAC here. There was Bailey as well. Is there another silhouette? No, I think that's pretty much it. But, you know, still 2 roamers at the top floor and no roamer at the bottom floor. That does kind of seem to be a weakness, if I wanted to put it that way. In the meantime, however, Kalen is kind of trying to get rid of the top floor roamers. Doesn't have any luck by doing so far, but, you know, he's trying, and eventually a bullet will connect, be it the defenders shooting at the attackers or the attackers shooting at the defenders. So far, Bailey has lost a lot of health, and Pitak actually is life. Bailey in the same situation. Now he's in a dump and a dot situation. Sepak not even going to attempt to revive his teammates. He is just jumping down. And jumping down could have been a nice, say, coincidence, because let's remember ourselves, there were a few attackers down there, but they're no longer here. So Saipak might even have been surprised, or might have surprised them. That in turn is not going to happen, however. So Tsanga right now is going to find himself in a 1v4 situation, since Sipak is currently in an active roam. He's flanking, and he's not going to be, you know, contributing to his team as long as he's still coming back up the stairs. So Tsanga has to, you know, withstand the pressure with, for example, Sledge here opening up the bottom floor, the floor, should I say. We also heard a breaching charge being placed. That was Ares right there. He's gonna look for a possible pick. Is gonna find none, however. And I'm just going to repeat myself. When you're opening up the floor, you're kind of doing this blindly. So ideally, you would have a drone that tells you where the defenders are in the bomb site and that tells you where to open up the floor. The situation, though, is slowly but surely shifting. Oh, don't potato this. Oh, no, Matzi, what did you do? Tsanga, however, getting a nice refrag. And that's the thing. 11 seconds remaining. He is at a solid numerical disadvantage. But time is on his side. He's going to get pushed. And that shotgun right here could get the double, but it does not. Had he been, say, a pulse with his semi-automatic shotgun, he might have gotten the 2 kills. But there you go. That was extremely dangerous coming off the attackers, you know. Nomad was downed. Had they been lined up, it would have been a double kill with a single shot. Cutting it close, but still winning it. At the end of the day, it's all that matters.
Bomb located by attacker. Up the diffuser. 10 seconds remaining.
So we have apparently lost our second caster. So there you go. There's that. There's that. Okay. So yeah, but that was Dynamy's first round 1. And as such, they're showing us that they're not, you know, defenseless. That they're not openly, you know, the game is not yet over. But I cannot, at the same time, give them too much credit here. It was cutting it extremely close. Like, we were within a few seconds of the end of the round. They had a numerical advantage, but they almost got foiled by a single defender. It was extremely close, and it was a tertiary bomb site. So, you know, by doing what they did last round on this bomb site, on this primary site, is not going to pay dividends like it did in the previous round. So, Dynamy still do have, you know, to catch up. They still have a bit of catching up to do.
10 seconds to go.
What I do like to see from WhiteHounds is their custom strategy again. It shows two things, and it might be a mistake to go for this strategy, but it still goes to show two things. First of all, now that Dynamy, sorry, have seen this defense, WhiteHounds still feel confident enough. WhiteHounds still feel confident enough that even though the opponents are going to know what the strategy looks like, they still think they can win it. So that speaks of a great deal of confidence in their strategy, in their skill level, and all that good stuff. But it may also end up being a mistake, right? So if they were to become a bit too, say, complacent and believe they can win it no matter what, that's where, you know, stupid mistakes come from. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. And I'm not saying, you know, they're actively feeling superior or anything. I'm just saying this is how such a situation may arise, or this is where such a situation may come from. For right now, however, Dynamy's situation seems to be looking pretty interesting. So we're seeing a setup that's putting pressure from multiple different angles. I wouldn't come in there if I was the attackers, because, you know, Tsanga here with a shotgun plus an ADS, it's going to be pretty hard to push. Plus Parzival here covering his ally. And I do like the different rotations that they have, because, you know, you can hold the angle by the doorway, but it's going to be quite dangerous because it's so predictable. Oh, and the castle barricade over there is to protect Parzival when he's holding said angle. But then if too many guns are pointed at this exact doorway, well, he still has a rotation right here, you know? All that good stuff. So, all in all, it's looking quite interesting because half of the round has been played so far. Nobody is dead. Nobody has actually lost any amount of health. So far, the defenses are a really good deterrent, if anything else, because Dynamy, they're not really pushing forward. And they will have to do so pretty quickly. The bad news is, by not flushing out any roamers, by not getting any kills before creeping up to the objective, you're still going to have 5 full defenders on the bomb site itself, which is going to make it extra hard to push in. Granted, you still have 5 guns to make it inside the bomb site yourself, but, you know, it only takes a small canister to shut down an entire doorway, no matter how many attackers are standing behind said doorway. So those are, you know, the bad news. Also, Hugo has lost a bit of health. Oh, DNM has been able to get the first kill on Parzival, and that might be the opening the attackers were waiting for. And Tsanga has lost a lot of health, but he will take the kill. Will he go for the second frag on, I believe it was, DNM right here? Apparently not. He will probably try that. But Kaling will get the frag at the end of the day. Saipak is in a realm, so Pitak will be the only real defender in the area right now. He will be bested as well, leaving us with Saipak in a 1v3 situation. Diffuser is actively being planted, and you do see Ares at the repel window right here. He's not moving. He's not making any noise. And I expect Smozzy to be looking at this angle. And there you go. Ares winning another round for the Dynamy team. This is kind of what we were looking for. That type of gaming, of play, is what they needed, because at this point I do suspect that knowledge of the setup due to the prior maps or the prior rounds being played has played a major factor in, you know, the outcome of the round. So there you have it. It's now a 2-2 scoreline.
Attackers are activating the bomb diffuser.
That was statues. So even though the defenders, even though WhiteHound Esports have lost right here, they could go statues again, but they elected not to. Instead, for the second to last round before the halftime mark, we are going to be seeing a games room defense. So, let me just ask this in French. Dynamy Phoenix, dis-moi, le pseudo de IQ ici, comment tu le prononces? Péréphone, le 5, est-ce que c'est un S? Est-ce que c'est Perséphone que ça se prononce? Just wondering how you'd pronounce IQ's gamer tag here. But in the meantime, what kind of didn't help WhiteHounds last round was prior knowledge of the strategy. And right here,
5 seconds remaining.
we would be in a fairly similar situation since Dynamy, they've seen this defense work once, they've lost to this defense once, and now they would presumably either know what the weaknesses is or at the very least know what the strengths are and what they're going up against. And prior knowledge of the strat was sufficient for them to win the round, the 4th round, the round that we just saw here in statues. So, assuming the blue team is able to be consistent, Dynamy should be in a position to, you know, replicate said feat. It remains to be seen, however, Shito here holding a tight angle on that window, sorry, but no defender is going to be peeking said window. Like if we take a look at their positioning, Sipak was kind of in the area, but that double tap is going to be scary for Ares, who is expecting a run up, but there is a claymore down there. Was somebody in the general area? There was not. So we do see, I believe it is Castle's Parcival. Okay, yeah. The caster's banner. You have to tell from the silhouette who that is. Parcival here at the top of red stairs could jog down. Maybe would be in a position to put some pressure on Hugo. And Hugo himself is kind of holding the rotation. Let's just take a look here. He's holding the rotation by the vault here. So he had a good line of sight, a good angle, which in the current state of things was next to worthless because nobody was actively rotating. But you know, it only takes a bit of pressure. It only takes a frag grenade being tossed into the objective to force a defender to, you know, run back. That smoke is going to get tossed, and there was a ADS device right here who will shut down Ash's well, grenade basically. Sorry, I kind of blanked here. Shito getting a nice kill on Sipak. That was quite interesting. And the attackers now have full control of study. That could be a good stepping stone to get into the bomb site itself, but not if Matze has anything to say about it. The problem is he has to juggle between 2 different lines, and that was going to prove fatal for him. However, the real problem is Ares, who crept up behind him. So right now, you do have Maestro, who will he himself creep up behind Zofia, getting the kill on Ash. Is he going to get the double kill? He might try, but not if Ares has anything to say about that. Kalen on the over his shoulder is going to help, but he got the kill on Parcival, not on Petak. And I kind of feel like they believe they got the kill on the one that was actively harassing Zofia, which is not the case. Once again, Petak is still alive, though he's going to be playing it a bit more passively. His other Eagle Eye seems to have been destroyed, and that's unfortunate. So I don't know where it was. Can't remember him seeing him putting it down. But now the diffuser is being planted. If he gets the kill on Zofia, he does. That is not going to force Kalen out of the diffuser being planted. He actively did not stop planting it. He went for it. Did not, you know, take the bait. But the thing is, he was refagged immediately by Tsanga, who has a lot of time just to shoot bullets at his opponent to say, hey, you're dead, I'm not. Kind of just, you know, adding insult to injury. And there you go. WhiteHounds Esports kind of getting back the lead that they had at the beginning of the game. So they kind of lost the lead. Or, yeah, it was a tight situation. So they had actively lost the lead. And they have now regained it. Some people might think that the game is pretty close. Because, you know, it was a 2-2 situation. And, you know, so you could argue, to play devil's advocate, that WhiteHounds Esports have a point up to their opponent simply because an odd number of rounds have been played so far. There might be some merit to that. So the only thing concerning, you know, this hypothesis I'd have to say is let's take a look at the next round, because the next round is going to tell us everything. If WhiteHounds win again, it is going to be a 4-2 scoreline for the role swap, which would be pretty encouraging for them. And if not, you know, that would be a bit unfortunate, because once again, this map I would consider be not heavily defense-sided, but still somewhat defense-sided. So if they're not able to win their rounds on the defense, it is going to be a bit more difficult to win them on attack. However, this is going to be their last defense, and they're once again going to go to their default bomb site with their default strat, with their custom default strat, should I say? And this default strategy has been used extensively against the enemy at this point. Like, they really know how to attack against this strat. So, like, the only hypothesis I could bring forth here is WhiteHounds, they've won once.
5 seconds left.
Now, the enemy knew what they were going up against. Now, WhiteHounds have lost due to that.
Attackers are moving out.
And the current state of things is WhiteHounds know how Dynamy attacks that bomb site when Dynamy knows what the defense looks like. So all that being said, I don't know you could like castle barricade above a regular barricade. Not that it really matters, but hey, there you go. So yeah, Dynamy, they really know not to, you know, actively push directly in front of the defense's strongest, say, sides. The weak spot of that setup, I would say, would be right here. There's only a barbed wire and a castle barricade, neither of which are really hard to dispatch or to take out. And there you go, Hugo already getting a first blood. He has inserted himself in the basement area and has taken out a solid roamer. Sypak has a great roaming potential simply because of the amount of intel he can get. So right now, the name of the game will be to just use this numerical advantage to get an even bigger numerical advantage. Because if you look at it this way, you really don't want to be going up against smoke. So what other entryways are there? You can open up the castle barricades and, you know, you or execute the classic, I'd say, 90s hallway / red push, which Ares seems to be considering right now. His teammates over his shoulders, right here, are going to be opening up the castle barricade. So this really does look to be shaping up like a classic 90s 90 hallway push, with the added twist that Hugo could easily walk up the astronomy stairs. Like, is there anybody by Astro? There is, but that defender would be Doc, and Doc, well, if he wasn't looking at this stairway previously, he now absolutely will be. In the meantime, we are still seeing a somewhat stagnant situation, but that distraction can be really good since, there you go, Petak is taking fire from all the way back here if he's not careful. So he will have to turn his attention away from the staircase, and that would be Hugo's perfect timing, but he does not seize up on that opportunity. Unfortunately, Petak now boosted, knows there's somebody right there. The camera has been destroyed, and Ares apparently going for the pixel peak. Once again, Doc is kind of juggling between multiple angles, and that's kind of the big problem here. IQ kind of wanted to jog up. That didn't work out too well for her. A player was down, but has been since revived. With now 33 seconds remaining on the clock, it's the typical 20 seconds strategy, I'd say. The attackers have been able to steadily and, you know, slowly but surely get the kills, but now that the time no longer will allow for slow methodical gameplay, the final rush is going to have to happen. Now a 2v2 situation, 17 seconds and counting. You have here the diffuser is going to be in Ash's possession. Petak, last operator alive, has no direct control of any objective whatsoever, can easily turn around on his right side. Ares is not looking his way. That would be a free kill. There you go. But the diffuser now is planted in a 1v1 situation. Hugo is out of breaching charges, not that it really matters, and does not have the flash grenades. Flash grenades can be a really good way of delaying the defender's push. So the diffuser's position is now known, and as such, he can really know where to expect Ash to be. These pre-fires, and you know, if Ash was not still unknown, that pre-fire, that returned pre-fire, will indicate her position. Hugo, however, will get the kill. Petak has been not aggressive enough, I'd say. Or that peak was kind of sloppy at the same time. You know, he really did expose himself, and as such, that's gonna lead to Dynamy winning the round. And the scoreline, once again, is tied with a 3-3, even number.
Bomb diffuser has been dropped. 5 seconds left.
And I'm still receiving... Yeah, that's...
Bomb diffuser has been dropped.
So I'm still receiving messages here and there. Okay. So, looking at it right now, Dynamy, now that they're defending, are likely to go for, you know, a different style of defense.
10 seconds remaining.
Since, of course, you know, WhiteHounds' strategy or WhiteHounds' preferences, playstyles, does not necessarily mean that Dynamy will have the same ones, right? So we're going to be seeing, actually, unfortunately for, you know, diversity's sake, no new operators. Maestro has been played on, I believe. However, the Duck has been played in the aviation and games room area. Oh no, and there's gonna be. Oh no. Okay, that's not gonna be a 4v5 situation. One that Dynamy can ill afford, because you know even with a 5-5 they can barely get the points even. So that's not gonna be too say encouraging for them. In the meantime, the roaming game seems to be pretty light, however, I have to say, coming off of Dynamy. So Dynam here seems to be the only one, and the drone economy will get him out of the game pretty shortly. To me, it's just a matter of time. His position has been known. He shot down a drone, more are coming his way. And, you know, the attackers, for what it's worth here, in Dining Room, have the numerical advantage, absolutely. But WhiteHounds don't seem too interested in actively taking him out of the picture. Like, look at this. The defenders that were, the attackers that were downstairs are no longer there. So maybe Parsival will be going up against him, but no, he's just, you know, playing for verticality. And finally, it's going to be a Claymore that takes Ares out. So, you know, Harvey getting a nice kill. 3v3 situation. And there we go. Paytak being taken out of the game. And that's it. That's Jaeger, who has been kind of ignored, even though he was droned out, who is just going to prove WhiteHounds the error of their ways. They should have taken him as a serious threat, yet they did not. And that's going to be the outcome. Even though it was a 4v5 at the beginning of the round simply because they lost a player. Well, right now, the defenders have the upper hand. With over a minute remaining on the clock, though, the good news is WhiteHounds still have a lot of time to prepare their attack. You know, they can drone, they have time to relocate themselves, they can do all of these good things without, you know, feeling the sting of a timer running out, you know, too quickly here. But hesitating is one thing they have no luxury of doing, because if they hesitate too much, well, the timer is going to get to a critically low number really quickly, and there's going to be nothing they can do about it. So, nice kill, but refrag by DNM, who might even get the double kill, but that's going to be an attempt, and unfortunately, a fail attempt, and there goes Tsanga getting the refrag. Now, 1v1 situation, 27 seconds remaining on the clock. Tsanga does have the diffuser in his back pocket, and he's actively going to be creating openings, but these openings, are they baits? Does he just want to make, you know, a bit of noise on one side and appear from the other side? No, he's truly going in from that angle. With 11 seconds remaining on the clock, Shito has heard that. He's going to toss a Nitro Cell, and that Nitro Cell is going to get the kill. There you go. Tsanga, unfortunately, should have actively looked for the kill rather than just trying to plan, because with 11 seconds on the clock, furthermore, if he just stayed prone, probably the bar would have deflected all of that explosion. Maybe, maybe not. But running away was not the right thing to do. Some players will actively try to shoot down the Nitro Cell. That's feasible, that's doable. But if shooting it down doesn't work, you know, just double down and just stay prone, stay put. Alright, yeah. So, there I go. That Nitro Cell was pretty good, to be honest. Like, once again, Shido knew he didn't actively have to peek or expose himself. And that really did pay out. So, the first defense in aviation has paid out pretty nicely for Dynamy. But now they kind of have tipped their hand. They have shown what their playstyle is, what their preferences entail, and let's see if WhiteHounds are able to adapt to that. The one thing I do see is that Kalen is putting both of his evil eyes in a position to kind of defend the A bomb site, and by doing so, he's pretty much neglecting the B area. But it does seem like he himself will be staying in that general, you know, area of the map. So he will be protecting said bomb site, and Hugo going for a spawn kill. Spawn kill, which may work. There is Ace right on his right side. We don't see the buck on his left, but he was there. That grenade kind of definitely shows that Hugo's position had been known, or was, you know, identified by the attackers. And there you go. That's going to be Parsifal in a good position to just cut off the rotation, get a nice peek. But DNM is also in the area. Will DNM get the refrag? And he's once again playing it pretty passively, I have to say. Like, he is not actively looking for a firefight. He gets spotted, he runs away, and kind of forces the attackers to look for him and to waste a lot of time.
Bomb located by attackers.
Give me a sec. Okay. Yeah. So, there we go. That is going to be Bailey getting a nice kill on DNM. So, once again, the roamer who was there, tried to play for time, ended up playing for time, but not as much as he might have had. Sorry. So, he ran away, but not enough, and he became complacent, I feel like. He just stayed static for way too long, and that led to him being dispatched. That Evil Eye has not yet been identified, I believe. Uh-oh, does Buck see it? Uh-oh, that grenade could be dangerous. And Shito, the intel has been fed to Shito. Shito ran away, but Buck, yeah, that's the thing. IQ, probably Percival, knew he was there, and that is an unfortunate end to Maestro, whose Evil Eye's positionings were looking pretty promising, to be honest. Like, that Evil Eye could have shut down 1 or 2 X-Kyroses, and then forcing Buck to, you know, use one of his grenades to get the kill on, or to destroy the Evil Eye. That's, you know, utility being used up. It's not exactly an ADS, it's unfortunate, but, you know, the point still stands. And that Nitro Slot might get the kill if he has a proper timing for it, but no, he does not detonate it. And now it's too late, diffuser's being planted. WhiteHounds Esports, he gets the kill though, nicely done. It was a 1v5 situation, or 1v4, with the Claymore being placed at the very same moment. That was cutting it close, to say the least. And he's gotten 2 kills in quick succession. If he keeps on going with this current rate, he might even get the kills, or he might even destroy the diffuser. But Paytak is going to put an end to all of those hopes and aspirations by getting a nice kill. It was just a luck game, or it was just a randoms game, right? So Mute could have peeked from the one angle or the other. He looked inside the astronomy area rather than looking at the bathroom area, and that just ended up being his doom. Let's go for these little replays. And in the meantime, let's just take a look at the other games. Okay, so Hooligan have been able to beat out Respect Esports. So the winner of this map is going to face up against Hooligan, and the loser is going to play Respect for 3rd place. Great. So, yeah, looking at it, Ares had a great potential, but he was just not able to use up all of it. Like, the thing here with the Claymore, kind of getting the kill before the Claymore fully activated, I like that. You know, that's pushing the limits, that's being ballsy. And that's what you need when you're in a 45 situation. At the end of the day, it was not sufficient, however. So that was a nice attack by WhiteHounds Esports. And the one thing that's kind of surprising to me here is, you know, the defense just lost. So Dynamy, they could have gone statues again. Instead, they elected to go dining room. That's a bit surprising. Let's see if there's any merits to that. Time will tell. But so far, the defense seems to be pretty standard. Castle barricade, reinforcements here and there. A rotation being opened up by the shotgun. Something you see not every time. You know, some teams will try to reinforce those walls, but the problem is you'll run out of reinforcements pretty quickly. So, might as well just double down and create a rotation hole right here. It does make sense. Other than that, Hugo is not actively roaming, which is something I might have expected coming off of a pulse. Though all of the ceiling here is soft, so you know there's merit to staying on the objective itself too. DNM seems to be the lone roamer once again, and his position so far has not been known. On his left side though, he hears Ash and he gets a nice kill here. Bailey knew he was there, like Ash was definitely ready for him. So the question is, how has he been drowned out? Maybe he wasn't drowned out, maybe he was just, he just made a bit too much of noise. No matter what happened, the end result is still going to be the same. It is not going to be a 5v4 situation in favor of Dynamy, but with no Doc in the composition, DNM will have to live with roughly 25 HP for the rest of the round, and that's not going to be looking too good. With no mute in the general area, like how come there's no mute jammer here? I couldn't tell you, but there you go. That's going to be Hibana opening up the wall. But I don't think she's going to be actively pushing from there. Like Tsanga, if he was to peek that, would be expected, and there'd be a lot of guns pointed his way. But that is if Parzival, that was before Puzzle got the kill on DNM. So, you know, all of that combined is going to make the defenses on the bomb side itself a bit lighter. I am aware he got the frag on a roamer, but that just forces, for example, Ares to pick up the slack and to go himself roaming. With all that being said, though, it doesn't work too great for Tsanga, who got picked off, and now it's a 3v4 situation. CPAC is trying to get into that castle barricade. Is it gonna work? Nah. He can get in, but that'd be a bit too dangerous, so he lets not to. Paytak on his side is looking at verticality here. What are the positions he might get? What are the picks? What are the odds of him getting anything? We'd have to see. So on the right side, there is a mute, which he does not seem to be aware of, and that's going to be a free kill for Ares. Lack of droning, lack of intel is going to be his doom, unfortunately. Sipak, the last operator alive, is not going to commit the same mistake as his teammates did, and he is going to join everything but the top floor, and that is where Ares gets another kill. And there you go, Dynamy now leading once again. Nice kill. Nice kill. Let's go for these replays. And at this point, I'd have to say the overtime situation just seems increasingly more likely. Like, okay, so this, how come we have, wait, my rounds history seems to be off. For the roll swap, we had a 3-3 scoreline, did we not? Okay, so my rounds history has a flaw in it, but the thing is, both teams, Whoopu, need French caster for another match. Hey, Whoopu, yeah, sure, of course. Oh, mon Dieu, Whoopu. I thought it was for tonight. Of course, of course. Whoop. Hit me up. Oh, Whoopu. Yes, let me just call you. Let me just call you. Okay, yeah. So I'm expecting a call from him. And let's just jump into this next round here. The 10th round is going to be once again in the game room area, with a really similar composition, I have to say. Like what we saw 2 rounds ago seems to be pretty much the same as this round right here. You have, I'm not exactly sure if these are the same players playing the same operators, but the operators themselves are extremely similar. Bailey right here, main entrance. Is there somebody in the general area? Yeah, that was Doc probably, who took a bit of damage. So there you go. Parzival was able to get the kill on Hugo. And Hugo was kind of the only roamer down here. Oh no, he was not. There is DNM who gets the kill on Parzival. And let's just get a co-caster here. Salut Whoopu, comment ça va?
Ça va, ça va.
Ça va, ça va. Fait que toi, tu veux caster, c'est ça?
Ben, moi, je disais ça pour caster avec Skies, mais je sais pas s'il me répondait pas, fait que...
Ah, ok. Ben écoute, si tu veux caster, tu peux bien. Ben écoute. Là, on a... ça, c'est une demi-finale. l'autre demi-finale. L'autre demi-finale, elle a été jouée en deux Français. Fait que t'as comme un Français en deux teams françaises. T'as une team française en grande finale puis une team française en petite finale. Et ici, j'ai une team hongroise contre une team française. Fait que je vais suivre la team hongroise. Si la team hongroise perd, je prends la petite finale. Si la team hongroise gagne, la WhiteHounds ici, dans ce cas-ci. Si la WhiteHounds emporte, tu vas aller en grande finale. Ça te va-tu?
Ouais. Ah, c'est hongrois, je pensais que c'était italien. Non, italien, c'est l'autre bord.
Non, l'Italie, c'est
ça.
vertical.
Ouais,
C'est vertical.
Mais ouais, ça ne dérange pas de prendre la petite finale. Ou, je sais pas, la demi-finale.
Ouais, c'est ça.
Ouais, la demi-finale.
Ben, l'autre demi-finale est déjà jouée. Genre,
Ok.
la game est finie, puis on sait déjà c'est qui va jouer en grande finale, on sait déjà c'est qui va jouer en petite finale. La question, ben, how are these opening so, let's say, crooked? Did Hibana, like, twist her gun before shooting? Man, j'ai une ouverture d'Excaros qui est genre en diagonale, là, c'est fucked up.
J'ai pas
Yeah.
vu.
Okay, I'll just cast this in English before the end of the game. That was 1v4, now 1v2 with CPAC now being down. Nicely done. The diffuser is not actively being planted. It is in Sanga's position. CPAC is being revived, so we're going to be back up to a 3v1 situation. The wallbang, however, might be dealing a bit more damage, but that's exactly the thing. You know, diffuser not being planted, the lone defender on OBJ having good control, but that's now changing. He doesn't have an evil eye there, does he? He's not going to be in position to prevent that from being planted. Unfortunately, 1v2 situation. Buck was holding that angle. Buck is actively right there, but he's getting pinged like crazy. His teammates, here, killing teammates, must be feeding intel. That grenade is going to force a rush in, and that's not going to work. WhiteHounds winning the 10th round. Once again, the scores are tied 5-5. If this happens one more time, well, we're going to be seeing a 6-6 score line. It is now or never. Either team can win 2 rounds in a row and get this game, put a quick end to this game. If not, well, you will have no choice but to go through the overtime situation, which would be a bit more unfortunate, but hey, there you go. That's what we got to do when we have a tie. Also, Pex, hello, how are you doing on this fine day, on this fine Saturday? Back in French real quick, donc ouais, puis c'est ça là, si t'as pas d'autres questions, écoute, je vais te laisser vu que je pense pas que tu vas casser en anglais avec moi.
Non, je suis pas sûr. Mon anglais est bon, mais pas à ce point-là.
Pas à ce point-là. Ben écoute, c'est en faisant des trucs comme ça qu'on améliore son anglais, hein, moi je dis comme ça.
Ah ben je game avec des anglais, c'est assez.
Alright, fair enough. Fait que ben merci pour ça, puis on se revoit tantôt.
Mais ouais, tu m'écriras pour savoir si
Yes.
je prends les français.
Yes. Puis non c'est ça, mais Sky il te répondait pas dans le fond?
Ben non, mais j'ai écrit puis il va me répondre. Il a eu le temps de me répondre après moi.
Alright, parfait. Tu savais-tu, genre, c'était disponible, des fois, genre, sa famille veut qu'elle genre, fasse des démarches, puis qu'il sorte un petit peu, là.
Ce que je devrais faire aussi, d'ailleurs.
Ouais,
Des fois.
ce que tout le monde devrait faire.
Ouais.
Bon, enfin, bref, alright, je te laisse là-dessus.
Yes!
So, we have officially found another caster for the other map, for the other final. So, just to repeat in English what has been said in French, we have here WhiteHounds Esports, who are a Hungarian team, and Dynamy, who are a French team. The guy that I was talking to does not speak proper English enough to feel confident in casting in English. So what's gonna happen is I will follow WhiteHounds Esports. If they win, I'll cast the grand final. If they lose, I'll cast say the lower final for 3rd place. And as such, you know, both games are gonna be casted in a fashion that's gonna be say ideal or as good as possible. Because I would assume whoever ends up playing against WhiteHounds, since they're gonna be a French team, would like for the game to be cast in French. But you know, compromises have to be made, and that's going to be the plan, basically, the master plan. Ares here in study, and he's not alone. There's also going to be DNM alongside him. My question is, what exactly is the end game here? Because if you look at the orange silhouettes in the map, nobody is generally close to that area to study. Sepak was right underneath it, and DNM in the staircase could be putting a great deal of pressure on CPAC if he actually goes for that. But for the time being, he's just holding the angle, and CPAC is not pushing said angle. So it's going to be a stalemate situation, and nobody's going to win out on that possible firefight, which, you know, didn't happen. So what else, or what is actually on the WhiteHounds Esports' to-do list? Like, where's the pressure going to be coming from? Petak seems to be going here for a a walk-in closet push. That wall was not reinforced. The other one wasn't either. But we do see Hugo's silhouette being pretty close by. He could peek quite easily, but would be ill-advised to do so since there was a silhouette. So let me just find which one it was. God damn it. Is it Bailey? Somebody is outside, right? Oh, it's Tsanga. Okay, so Tsanga is out there. So if Hugo wants to push in on Pitak, well, Tsanga would be likely to cut off his rotation, which, you know, would not end up too well for him. In the meantime, however, Tsanga was not really looking to cut off any and all rotations. He was actually trying to open up the wall, and that actually, that totally did work. Parzival, however, not being as lucky as his teammates are, he's going to be biting the dust. And D and M is still roaming out and about. We do see that Ash is trying to heal her teammate, Bailey, going for Parzival. And that's the thing, they didn't exactly know that the player was in dump at that stage, and there you go. Unfortunately, DNM was looking at the wrong way, the wrong angle at the wrong time, and he's going to be bested by Bailey, who basically shot him in the back. Hugo is still holding that angle, and is he going to get any activity from there? Yeah, Buck is right here, looking to peek. He wanted a knife, but he was clearly going for the barbed wire, and we just see here that there was a black eye camera in that area, and that is why they exactly know where the pressure was going to be happening. And this is also how Sipak's position was constantly known, and this is why Hugo got the kill. Intel is not to be underestimated in this game, absolutely not. And isn't it a bit, let's say, ironic? Because you had an IQ on the attacker's composition, I believe. So having an IQ, that kind of means you should have seen that coming. But hey, the players can only blame themselves at this point, because these weren't exactly, you know, firefights in which either team clearly had a superior aim. Like, I will let the replays loop real quick, and we'll take a look, for example, at the roamers' deaths. DNM, Jaeger, was just looking at the wrong way. That's a lack of intel, basically. Buck, same thing. His position was known, though we're talking about the other team here. Buck's position was constantly known. There was a black eye camera there that was not tagging, that was not doing anything. And yet, there you go. Here, DNM jumped into third perspective here. He was looking up the stairs, and that's exactly when Bailey came up to him. Unfortunate. Who don't speak England? I think je pense que tu veux dire who does not speak English, or who can't speak English. Mais hey, c'est une bonne façon d'apprendre l'anglais. It's a good way of learning English. As unfortunate as it is, because at the beginning, like when you jump into, you know, immersion, for example, like I don't really speak Hungarian like at all, okay? So if I was to go live into Hungary like that, you know, let's say just something clicks and I want to go there and I just want to live there, it would be pretty hard, pretty rough for the first few weeks to try, you know, to even maintain a basic conversation if you jump in with, you know, no knowledge whatsoever. But that's also the best way of learning quickly. It kind of feels like the more you challenge yourself, the harder it's going to be, but the more rewarding it is going to end up being. That's just the way things are. Jumping back into it, DNM has already been taken off the board. He was roaming at the top floor. Apparently, Bailey got the kill on him. I would assume simply because he's lost a bit of life. So, you know, that would indicate a firefight happened. And let's just remind ourselves, Ares being bested here again. Let's just remind ourselves that this is a match point situation in favor of Dynamy Esports. So if they're able to win this defense right here in Kitchen, the map and the game is theirs. However, this is not looking too good for them, as it is already a 3v5 situation. God damn it, the hiccups. And as such, you would expect, and rightfully so, that the roamers are out of the board. As such, verticality, such as the one that Bailey is currently exercising on the defenders, or Paytac doing the same thing, is just mounting. And since you have no roamer to take them out of the game, you have no choice but to kind of accept that the ceiling is going to be blown to bits and pieces above your head. In a 3v5 situation, though, the good news is Dynamy still has full control of the objective. You know, sometimes it's the roamers that are still alive, and they have to retake the objective. And that's not easy, because the defenders, well, they have defensive-sided kits. They're not really equipped to actively attack and take control of a part of the map. Jackal was right there. You know, Hugo kind of knew, because Jackal had to be somewhere. Hugo had previously been. But that's not going to be enough, since you can see CPAC here going in and getting the kill. That flash grenade is, however, going to flash him. So let's just take a look at what Kaelin's doing. Both defenders actually are flashed. And Shido was behind a soft wall, just waiting behind an opening. Actually, now in a 2v5 situation, this looks like a flawless round. And it is going to be a flawless round. WhiteHounds Esports winning the 12th round and officially kicking this into overtime. Wow. This is something. That was quite intense, I gotta say. But hey, that's what you get. The diffuser being planted was nice too, because WhiteHounds, you know, they were in a 5v3 situation, but the defenders were still on OBJ. But, you know, the one kill on Doc kind of entirely collapsed to one side, because the remaining Modsy and Castle were obviously on the other bomb site. And subsequently, well, you know, if you placed flash grenades later, and the diffuser's being planted, and there was nothing that could be done at this point. So the remaining question, which we're all asking ourselves, is how is this overtime situation going to pan out? It's, you know, the last thing that we have to see. At this point, both teams know each other, you know, in great details. So I'm curious to see what's going to give. The one thing I do notice is Kaelin here roaming at the bottom floor. What's his goal? What's his objective here? He probably jumped down the hatch, and, you know, by preparing a defense here, he probably anticipates to be receiving some pressure, which would have some merit, you know. Peta can easily be playing the verticality from there, but, you know, playing verticality is not something you usually do on games room and that kind of stuff. Like, usually you just try to sabotage a mirror, a window, or, you know, that kind of utility before moving back up, you know, destroying batteries with IQ, or, you know, generally speaking, you get the idea. Kaelin is no longer there, which is quite interesting, because we did see, for example, here, CPAC, who is actively droning and who wants to get the intel on Kaelin's position. Kaelin is no longer there, however, and that's kind of the good news, because right now, good news for the Dynamy team, because right now, WhiteHounds, they're chasing ghosts. You know, they're droning everything out in the hopes of finding an opponent that's no longer there, to say so. And as such, you know, depending on how persistent they want to be, they have the potential of just losing a lot of time. Unfortunately, fortunately, rather, for them, they're not going to take the bait, you know. Eventually, they're going to realize he's no longer there, and they're going to say, okay, it is now safe. We can just look at the verticality like IQ was doing, like Buck is currently doing. And destroying those bandit batteries would be interesting, because now Hibana Tsanga can use his X-Kairos to open up another line of sight into the building and into the objective itself. We have seen Hugo getting a kill, and looking at Hugo's position, he probably just got the kill through the verticality, but with the ACOG here, he would be in a good position to get another frag, this time on Tsanga, because after all, Tsanga's gun has quite a bit of kick to it. So, as such, you might even expect the MP5 to have the upper hand at this range. Unfortunately for him, however, DNM, the best roamer, I believe, on the Dynamy team, is going to jump on a Claymore, and that is going to be the end of him. He had a really good track record of just evading the attacker. As soon as he's droned out, he moves out of the way and causes the attackers to lose a lot of time by doing so. But not this time, unfortunately. Ari is getting a nice kill on Bailey, and he will just keep on going strong. That Nitro Cell, however, will not detonate, as he will be putting it down, but at that stage beforehand. Hugo, if he was to be really quick, maybe could have revived his teammate, but that did not happen. So Shito kind of was the next line of defense. 2v3 situation. So Xanga has just opened up that wall right here. Hugo is prone right next to the wall. And Kalen is shooting into the opening. Xanga, last operator alive. He does not know somebody's right here. And there you go. Doc is jumping back up. He will be put down. And he had to reload the long way. Plus a Guma in his foot. That was not an easy feat whatsoever. But there you go. With 10 seconds remaining, no rotation was realistically possible. Xanga had to rush in through that doorway. And Kalen, well, was waiting for him. This is exactly what happens when you do so. Let's go for these replays. Roboban saying, come on, WHE. The unfortunate news is now they are backs against the wall. Should Dynamy win this next attack, it would be over for them. But looking at the track record these two teams have, the one thing I would expect to happen is simply Dynamy losing this attack. Like, it has been literally blue team wins, orange team wins, blue team wins, orange team wins. Like, this back and forth has been prevalent for the whole game, for almost an hour at this point. Neither team is able to decisively and consistently beat out their opponent. So for the life of me, I could not tell how this game is gonna end. The only thing I can, speculate on is Dynamy. They only need the one win to win the map, whereas WhiteHounds, they need 2 rounds to win the map. So Dynamy would be at odds of winning, but wow, that does not mean much in and of itself, considering everything we've seen so far. Parzival is setting himself up in a really interesting way, because with that floor being opened up from A to Z, probably somebody is going to be roaming the bottom floor. For example, Bailey right here. The hopes of shooting through the verticality at any and all attackers who want to go against this reinforced wall. Or this barricaded opening, sorry. I do see the idea in that, but a castle barricade is only going to hold on the attackers for so much time. And if Bailey is not already in a perfect positioning, he might not be able to prevent that. To prevent the attackers from funneling in. God damn it, hiccups again. What the hell's happening with me? Yeah. So in the meantime, if I was to look at it, 3 attackers are here. This is looking so far like a fairly unilateral push, but not every player on the Dynamy eSport team is coming from down there. So Hugo ran up the stairs coming from the basement. Did we have a roamer in the basement area? Apparently not. The 2 roamers that we do have are by the dining area. And should Hugo be aggressive enough, he could just open up that wall right here, which we cannot see when we're at the staircase, and enter from that general area, but I wouldn't expect him to do so. The one thing he should pick up on, however, is the castle barricades, the regular barricades that I see, plus, of course, the Modsy pests that clearly indicates where the defenders are roaming. And you might also argue this is why exactly said roamers, for example, CPAC here, no longer wants to stay behind their reinforcement and their barricades, because it makes them predictable. But regardless of what's happening a floor below, right here, you do have Shito, who's trying to sneak his way up into the objective itself, trying to get the angle on the feet of, I'm not exactly sure who that was. It's Xanga, not finding anything, unfortunately. And what's the next play going to be? So the anti-roaming phase is still going strong. Hugo has been able to get into the kitchen area, but the roamers are no longer there. DNM doing the same, but apparently, I don't know, he just jumped down, I would guess, and tries to, give a helping hand to his teammates. The thing is, the defenders are no longer there. CPAC is now holding a pretty tight angle. Should he be pushed, he is likely to get the kill. And he hears, for example, IQ looking at the ceiling. So he exactly knows what's going to be happening. And there you go. Nice pre-fires are going to get the kill on him. Bailey is no longer roaming whatsoever. He's made his way back to the main bedroom room. Sounds redundant, but there you go. Ares is pretty low. And there's somebody in here, right? There's Bailey on his right side. So that's going to be a bit difficult for him. But, a lucky wallbang might still get the job done. Kaling down thanks to Parzival. And that's not going to be Hibana taken off the board. Ares, last operator alive, if he can get the clutch. he can win this out. He can win this for his team, and he can get his team into the grand final. But it was a 1v5 and a 1v4 situation. 15 seconds remaining on the clock. Does not have diffuser, has very low health. Everything points to him not being able to win this out, but he's not gonna... Oh, he was not going to just stand down. He was not gonna give up. But at the end of the day, it was really not gonna happen. Let's be honest with ourselves. So there you go. Overtime match point situation. Whoever wins this round takes everything. This is going to be a now or never situation. Dynamy will be defending. I would say this map is defense-sided, but simply because we have such an even-sided or even game, no team has been able to consistently, overpower the opponents, neither on attack, neither on defense. So, who knows what's gonna happen? The one thing that I can tell regarding what's happening is the bomb side. We are gonna go statuary and trophies room. So, where we just were right now with WhiteHounds defending. It is not gonna be WhiteHounds' custom strategy. So this is the one thing I find, somewhat unfortunate. I always do like to see custom strats, for diversity's sake, and, just impress me and teach me something new about the game. That kind of reasoning. But definitely their defenses here do have a lot of merit as well. Hugo, for example, still has 4 bandit batteries. Is there a reason why he doesn't want to be placed down on this wall? He's probably just keeping them because he wants to do the bandit tricksing on them. That'd be my assumption. Other than that, Shicho reinforcing these walls. No castle in the composition, but you do have a Legion. So Legion has the potential of slowing down the attackers, less so than a castle, but generally speaking, aside from the fact that castle barricades can also be used as both visual and actual cover, the slowing down aspect of the gadget is going to be fairly similar, as long as you can, have a bit of mental gymnastics here, because it's not exactly the same thing. But they do share a similar characteristic at the very least. Roamers. Where would roamers be? DNM was not on BP, on objective, on bomb point. I don't know how often that acronym is being used, so let's not say that too much. But you do have Ares right here in the hunting vaults. I don't see too many attackers in a position, however, to challenge him right now. Though, as I say this, Partial can really easily just walk up the stairs and take a look at the vaults himself. Ares barricading himself, and that's pretty interesting. There has a few advantages and a few obvious drawbacks to their strategy. He's boxed himself in. If he gets pushed from the one side, that's going to be a retreat or a retreating option less available to him. However, that's also going to be making it so that the attackers can sneak up on him from one side at the very least, and as such, he'll have a bit of he's buying himself an ease of mind, basically. Holding the angle on the red stairs is interesting, but it's only worth anything if the attackers are actually coming up from that angle. And with it not being the case, Parzival actually is in a position to take a look at the red stairs. So as soon as Ares comes back up, well, Parzival might cut that rotation off, and he is going to see Hugo. That is really appealing. But on his left side, there was somebody. He didn't see that. He will get the kill, however. Is Ares going to respond to that? He is likely to do so, and he will get the refrag. Nicely done with the last bullet and then the shotgun. There you go. Now a 4v3 situation. Dynamy would be at odds of winning this. Bailey is not gonna give up though. He is not taking points in astronomy room. He has a Guma in his foot, but that's not going to deter him too much. He has a teammate giving covering fire, but that Jaeger right there can be absolutely dangerous. Or Shito at the same time, but no, that's going to be Shito downed. 2v2 situation now. And there you go, Ash coming in, not knowing where the defenders were. CPAC now in a 1v2 situation, 19 seconds remaining. Both of his opponents have all of their life. That's not going to be easy, but he has to attempt it. He knows somebody's in the staircase, but he's kind of ignoring them. 9 seconds remaining. He gets the kill. No 1v1 situation. DNM holding the angle, pre-firing. That's not going to work. CPAC now has no choice but to try to plant. He will try one last time to get the kill. Almost gets it, but he does not plant. Dynamy was going to win this by the skin of their teeth. How does that even happen? This is one of the closest games I've cast in a long time. It went overtime. It went 7-7. And even then, the final round is won by such a slim margin. I've never seen this before. Wow. I don't want to say these teams belong in Challenger League at the very least, but both of you guys, both WhiteHound and Dynamy at least participate in the qualifiers next season. Not saying you will make it, but I'm saying, yeah, at the very least, you won't be the first ones to be disqualified, or to not disqualify, but to not qualify. Wow. What a game. I gotta say, what a game. But with that being said, that's still going to be map 1 by Dynamy. Wow. There we go. What a close match. What an extremely close matchup.